Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Let's begin. GT concept. Here we go. And of course, having to go through the course license because, well, that's mandatory. And time to head to our first test, which is Midfield Raceway. And the car we are driving is a Mercedes SL 500. So, in terms of what our target times are, well, the minimum requirement we need is a 1:37 for a bronze. That's pretty much very easy unless you're planning on basically slipping and sliding everywhere on this course. We need a 1:30 for a silver and a 1:27 for a gold. Let's do this. Considering I would imagine this is probably going to be pretty easy, so no harm, no foul is, I guess, what I can say. At the very least. As we now begin our first license test of the game overall. And one other thing I've noticed is that, well, we cannot fail these tests if we go off track or scrape the wall, because apparently the only way we really can fail these tests is if we do not meet the minimum target time. And I'm pretty sure, judging by my previous experience, that'll probably be fairly easy for me to achieve, judging by what I've already experienced up to this point. And I'm just hopeful and saying everything will go the way it is supposed to. And there we go. Good enough for a gold, and I did it in under 2 seconds. Well, under 2 seconds ahead of the minimum target time for a gold. So there we go. And also going to put in my first name, which obviously, as many of you will have probably figured out by now, is of course Jordan. Which is also the name of a country. And also the name of a sportswear company. Anyways, onwards to the prize cars. And for obtaining the bronze in the Midfield Raceway license, we get a Nissan Pennzoil Nismo GTR. Well, Pennzoil Zaxel GTR, to be more specific. And for obtaining the gold, we get a Honda NSXR prototype road car. And yes, there is a race car towards this variant. Anyways, it also shows us the prize cars that we have managed to obtain, and of course we also get the details. So, license is done, let's now get on with the race. So we have the normal and professional levels here to consolidate with in terms of our overall progress. But of course, if I press L1 and R1, we unlock the Ace level, which I will of course be showing off for each of these courses. But anyways, let's now begin. And I think the car I'm going to use is, yes, let's use the Hyundai Coupe, just because I want to try something different. So for the normal race we are using a Hyundai Coupe, and where our competition is a VW Golf GTI along with a Merc SLK 230, a Toyota Celica, a Mini Cooper S and another Hyundai Coupe. So we get the usual settings here. We also get a circuit demo along with the car settings. Not going to touch those because there's no need to. We can also save the game, and we've got the options. Anyways, let's now get down to the race itself. And hopefully, if it's possible, it will be smooth sailing from here. And already off to a reasonable start as it currently stands. And because this is the normal difficulty, I would of course envision this to be pretty easy overall. And of course, for the Ace level, most of the cars I'll be using I will pretty much be trying to come up with a compromise between using road cars and race cars, essentially. And because I also don't want these videos to be too long, there will also be something else I'll be willing to try. Anyways, already up to the front as I would have anticipated, and 4.5 seconds is already the margin up to this point. And as I would have anticipated, I am already pulling ahead of my competition. And 9 seconds is the current interval now to the Mini Cooper. And, oh, that is the gravel, which I just slipped myself into there for a moment. Although, it's not anything costly because, as you can probably see up there, this is of course the normal difficulty, which is basically novice difficulty, if you will, judging by the competition, because I'm just running away with this race at the moment. Apparent as it might be. And it does look as though everything is going according to plan. And there we go. Easy win at Midfield Raceway. Yeah! And the other Hyundai, or Hyundai I should say, is running fourth. Won by 19.8 seconds in the end over the Mini Cooper. The Toyota finishes third ahead of the Hyundai. Then we have the Merc in fifth, and at the back it was the Golf GTI. Nearly half a minute behind me, or just about half a minute. Anyways, get the usual trophy. And we also get the replays. And not going to save the replay yet because I have an idea on which car it is I want to use. And for winning at Midfield Raceway on the novice difficulty, we get a Mini Cooper S. Pretty interesting if you ask me. But anyways, 1 race down and 2 to go. As we now move onwards to the Pro difficulty. And I think this time around I'm going to use something that's a bit faster compared to what I was using before. Yeah, don't want my video to be too long, so... Yes, let's use the TBR. Using the TBR for the professional race. And our competition is an Audi RS6 limousine, apparently, along with a Chevy Corvette Z06, a Corvette Gran Sport, a Jag XKR, and a Ford Mustang Cobra. And I am, of course, trying to see if I can come up with a compromise between slow cars and fast cars. At least it's what I'm trying to accomplish here. And already manoeuvring my way up into 3rd position. And the Corvette is really charging at the moment, and I dive down the inside, getting a little bit loose there on the outside, but up into the lead I go, ahead of the Audi RS6, and the Corvette is now appearing to make a manoeuvre for 2nd, and it does look as though he probably will thread the needle. Yes, he does. And I think it's fair to say, in terms of acceleration, I might have picked an overpowered car, potentially. Unless I make a shitload of mistakes, of course, but, you know. Don't want the video to be too long, of course. So that's why I'm compromising between fast cars and slow cars. At least it's what I'm trying to accomplish in this game, and I'm not paying attention at the moment. So that's going to allow the AI to close in, as of which I am leading this race by 5.3 seconds at the present time anyway, over the Corvette. Probably because I've been able to get around these corners more consistently than the AI has. So everything appears to be okay at the moment. I'm marginally extending my lead lap after lap up to this point. And it looks as though it's going to be another piss easy win. Because no one appears to be willing to challenge me for position, because I'm driving an overpowered car. Or at least it feels like I'm driving an overpowered car. So 11.6 seconds is now the gap. And keeping everything in check, and it does look as though this is probably going to be an easy win, as I would have anticipated. And coming up to the finish line now, and domination is the only word I can think of for this race. Absolute domination. And I think it's fair to say that what I've learned from this is, well, to not use the TBR Tuscan again, because this thing is clearly overpowered compared to my competition. And the RS6, who started on the pole, finishes last. And a double podium for the Chevrolets. And that is now 2 races down. And let's now move onwards to the prize car. And the car we get for winning the professional race is a Spiker C8. This will of course be a car I'll have to use at some point. So that's the prize car section cleared out. Of course, we still have one more race to do before we can officially declare it done, and that is the Ace level. And I'm going to use a concept car for this. And the car I'm going to use, because I want to, will be the Dome Zero. Because, well, I figure it's a game of concept cars, and I figured I might as well use this thing. So, in this field, we have a Pontiac Solstice on the pole ahead of a Vauxhall VX220, an Autobax Garaya in 3rd position, ahead of the Suzuki GSX, and a Lotus Elise is on the 3rd row with me. Here we go now for the final race of Midfield Raceway Forward. Because we do of course have the reverse course to do following this. Anyways, here we go, and down the inside of the Lotus Elise, not really needing to pull off any drastic manoeuvres to get up to the front. Even though I do need to stay out of the grass, because apparently that is costing me at the moment. Unsurprisingly. And it appears as though we've got a plethora of different colours for this event. Basically everyone choosing their own colours. Well, most of them anyway. And there of course is the Suzuki, and being forced up the outside there by this AI. Of course, I had to check up on the outside so that I would not make any significant contact. And already the Pontiac has fallen back from the pole position to 4th, and it looks as though that's probably where he's going to stay for the rest of the race. And it does appear as though the Suzuki will get past the Autobax at some point. And he threads the needle, he is through into the 1st position, I am also up into second position. So something tells me this is going to be an interesting race. To say the least. So, keeping everything in check as it currently stands. Less than 7/10 now to the Suzuki GSX. Attempting a manoeuvre down the inside. Made a little bit of contact there as I was making the manoeuvre, but I'm now up to the lead. In the space of just less than a lap of battling the Suzuki, shall we say. Anyways. Closing in because obviously he has the straight line speed advantage. Meanwhile, I have the cornering advantage because I just continue to send it. And it does appear as though this is going to be a two-horse race, and the Suzuki just immediately threads the needle. There was nothing I could have done there unless I was really willing to throw the block, but of course that is not proving to be the case. Also noticing some tyre smoke there from the Suzuki as he went into the corner, probably because he was braking hard. And he's got me boxed on the curb, but it doesn't matter because I thread the needle to retake the advantage. And back up into the lead I go. And yep, the Suzuki at the moment is just hounding my ass. And he is going to close in. Don't really see any point in him attempting a manoeuvre into the first corner, even though he's going to do it anyway. I do throw the block, but he's already in there. He was already in that spot before I could pull off the manoeuvre. We're both switching the lead backwards and forwards, as it appears to be at the moment. We're really having a good hard scrap. For this race win. And trying to see if I can send another one down into the hairpin. We were both on the curbs that time. Nothing I could have done, or else I would have spun out. And threading the needle straight away and dropping round the outside as a result of that. And apparently there might be the Suzuki is trying to brake check me. Or at least it looked he was brake checking me. He knew I was there. He was probably just trying to slow me down, but whatever he did, it probably isn't going to work. Anyways, final lap. And who will it be that wins the duel here at Midfield Raceway? We're both having a good hard scrap, basically rubbing fenders left and right as it currently stands. It does look as though the Suzuki appears to be the winner at the moment, but I'm not giving up on the gold until I know my shots of winning have completely eroded. But got a good exit out of the hairpin as we now head through the chicane. I throw the block on the Suzuki, who was attempting to make an inside pass on the second part of that chicane. I was not prepared to give in the position, and now it appears as though if I can hold him off for just about long enough, I should be able to get the W. It's going to be close, but I think I'm going to win it in the end. And in the process, I also set a new best lap time, as I won that race in the end by 1/4 of a second over the Suzuki. That's how close it was between the two of us. So the Autobacks, Garaya finishes in 3rd, the Pontiac Solstice was 4th. Then in 5th position we had the Vauxhall VX220, and at the back, 30 seconds behind myself and the Suzuki, was the Lotus Elise. So overall, it has to be said, that was a good race. Certainly a close one. And so, let's now move on. And I also just remembered I need to save a replay. So let's do that. Oh. There it is. I just figured I had to save me using a concept car for the clickbait of this episode. And so, there we go. That shall conclude it for part 1 of GT Concept. And all I need to do now is save the game. We are 10% into this game, and of course, I need to save it now. Alright. 1 down, 9 to go.